I'm too in love with the lifestyle that I get to live of just like freedom, doing whatever I want.
Oh,
That
yeah.
even with the struggles and everything, man, like I can't even think about working for somebody else.
Cool, man.
Sounds good.
It's working, recording.
All right.
Sweet.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'll just kick it off. So basically I met Nico in Miami when we were at 10X, and David and I randomly decided, hey, let's get a sick car while we're while we're here. And Nico provided a sweet ass Porsche for us to drive around in Miami while we were down there at 10X and enjoying ourselves. So reached out to him a couple days ago. I'm following you on social media since we met. Kind of just like love the content, the lifestyle. You out there with the dog, getting it in every day, riding around. So pleasure to have you on here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This is actually my first time getting interviewed or doing a podcast. Like I've actually been asked a couple of times, but it's just like setting it up and kind of like the whole thing with the Zoom, it just never ends up working out. But I'm glad we were able to set it up and finally make it happen.
Yeah, man. So maybe just give me like just a quick overview of who you are and what you do, and we can jump into it.
Yeah, man. I mean, so long story short, I mean, I was always that kid who didn't really like school, and I would always skip class and just do everything I wasn't supposed to be doing, getting in trouble. But I was in between going to college and actually going to the Navy, and I had signed up for the Navy after graduating high school, and I don't know, something just told me it wasn't for me, so I decided to enroll in college. So I ended up doing that. But what happened during college was that I ended up learning more from like YouTube and videos and podcasts and all these different types of things than from my actual classes, right? So I actually started a business bringing things from China, selling on Amazon. Like that was the early days. That was like 2013, late 2012. And that was like my first business success. And ever since then, I just figured out I can't work for anybody else, and I'm too in love with the lifestyle that I get to live of just like freedom, doing whatever I want. Even with the struggles and everything, man, like I can't even think about working for somebody else.
Nice. I love it. I mean, like what are your thoughts on school, like in general? Cause I'm pretty similar. Like when I went to school growing up, I kind of just mailed it in, and I didn't really gravitate toward some of the subjects I got into, like psychology and some of those classes, but for the most part I could care less about math and chemistry and things like that. I'm just like, I'm never going to use this isn't going to help me. So I really didn't put too much weight into it, and I know that there's pressure that comes along with that, either by not getting good grades from your parents or society or the teachers. And I definitely resonate with like what you're saying of how you learned a lot after the fact with like the internet and YouTube. But I mean, what are some of your thoughts on just like school in general versus how the world is sort of shifting education wise with like the internet and courses and things like that?
Yeah. So, I mean, we go back to the thing that I learned more from YouTube and podcasts. And we go back to the point that I did go to college and I went to my classes. I went for schools for business. And I remember sitting in the classes and I remember the professors going through the textbooks basically. And it was things that you couldn't really go home and start applying at all. And for the most part, those same professors had never actually operated a business. So I think they had no business in teaching business. You get me?
Yeah. 100%.
And that's where my lane started splitting with traditional school. I mean, I like to learn from people. Like if people have done it and they're making the effort to educate others on how to do it, they're basically laying out the blueprint and they've been successful doing that same thing. All you have to go do is basically replicate it. So if the blueprint is there, I'll take it.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. Like I went to college as well, something completely unrelated. I went for like music production. So I did that professionally for 3-4 years, and then started getting more into like sales and marketing, and always wanted to own my own business, but didn't know how. And it really wasn't until I started diving deep into things like YouTube and Facebook groups and things like that, and just having that self education. Like, compare me as a student, I feel like I'm a 4.0 student when it comes to like online, because I'll focus. I could sit for 8 hours straight just like learning and
I'm the
things.
same.
But when it comes to like school and just putting my butt in a chair and making me force feeding me education, I'm out. I can't
Completely agree. Yeah.
So like where did like your entrepreneurial drive like come from? Or like, was that always, did your family come from like entrepreneurs, or was this something that you paved the way on, or where did that come from, you think?
Yeah, I mean, so my father was always an entrepreneur. I mean, he never really got a big success, and I think during those times, I mean, he's older now. He's nearing 75 really soon. So I think during those times there wasn't that many resources. So you had to find out the extremely hard way what worked and what didn't work, and you could spend a lot of years basically trying things and figuring out, okay, this is not the way to do it. But now um, we have all these resources available, right? So I think that kind of captured me, as well as growing up, and my dad hadn't had that much success. My mother was an artist, so I grew up in Colombia, and I remember growing up, my parents made the effort to put me in like the best private school. So all my friends, I mean, it's Colombia, so people, it's not like they're super successful, but I was going to school with the people who were more successful. And I just remember feeling like I had less than everybody. And I was surrounded by people that had businesses and that were from families with money. And I always wanted that freedom. I always had my parents fighting about money, and it kind of scarred me to get away from that as much as possible from an early age.
Yeah.
So I mean, the usual entrepreneurial story of like, I wanted a bike, and my parents told me, well, you're gonna have to figure out how to get it. And I started selling little ice creams, like making smoothies and then putting them on the freezer and then putting them in a cooler, going down to the beach and selling them with ice creams. I mean, it was a beautiful time to like place to grow up. I grew up basically by the beach, so it was paradise, but the money was a little bit lacking. You get me? And I guess that's what kind of set me down that path. And I mean, it's been a rabbit hole, as you probably know as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. So when did you come here? Did you
I
just go
was
straight to Miami, or?
Yeah, I was 9 years old when we first moved to Miami from Colombia.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I know you hear about like a lot with like Gary Vee and stuff, just like the immigrant mentality, like how that's just like such an advantage sometimes to people, like where they come from. You know, I
Yeah.
know like weather-wise it was paradise, but different economic climate. So,
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
that gratitude, and or just seeing like the contrast from the different markets
Yeah.
and what
Yeah, and then
opportunities they had there.
also thinking about the fact that my parents basically did everything to come here, and they didn't do it because they had more opportunity for themselves, because they could have stayed there and kept on living the same life, and they're used to it, they could keep living that. But they basically gave everything away that they had, even though it wasn't that much, to bring me here, so that I had the possibility to do whatever I wanted in life. And that kind of, it does put a certain pressure on your back as an immigrant to be like, I have to do it. I have to figure out a way, and it gives you a certain resilience that I guess other people don't have.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely. So, do you think that that's like a big motivation for you? Just like that pressure of almost like either gratitude or just some sense of responsibility to pay them back, or like make something happen for the sacrifice that they're making.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I don't think for me is that much about like paying them back necessarily. I think it's more like they're getting older. You know, like I mentioned, my dad's 75, my mom's 64, and it's getting to the point where they weren't here to work for a company and then end up retiring with a check every month that is something that you can sustain your lifestyle with, right? So it's coming to the point where I'm an only child and I'm gonna have to figure out how to pay and take care of them in whatever comes up. You never know. And I'd rather have options than get put up against the wall at any point. And also the lifestyle, that motivates me as well. I want to be able to do whatever I want. I want to be able to travel. I want to go eat at restaurants whenever I want, not be like, hey, I got to buy the non-organic meat because the organic meat is a little more expensive. It's like I want to live a good life overall.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely see you out there, like in your Instagram. It's pretty cool to see you, out there with your dog every morning and, not having to go back to, your break at lunch or anything. You're just out there hustling either for like renting. I think you do like rentals for not only like cars, but like real estate as well, it seems like. And I mean, like what are you kind of curious about now, or like what are some things that you're digging into, like business wise or even not business wise these days?
Yeah, I mean, so as of lately, I've kind of like come back around full circle, and I'm sure like a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to that,
Selling
because
ice cream
like
again,
some of
or
the first, what's that?
selling ice cream again, or
Oh, no, not selling ice cream, but like in my like early college days, like I read The 4 Hour Work Week
yeah,
by
dude.
Tim Ferriss, and I started going into that space, and then yeah, man, that's a catalyst right there. And then I dove into like the passive income, Pat Flynn, like that type of strategy. And I tried it out. I started like 2 blogs. I remember when I was in college, I started one about space, and I started one called Nico's Mind. And I mean, I just wasn't seasoned in the space enough to like actually do something with it. But I was just like dabbling here, like trying little things. And now it's come to the place where I'm actually trying to match up the business that I'm going to go into long term to match the lifestyle that I want to live. You get me?
Yep.
Like, I mean, we met through the car business. So I rented a car to you guys. You guys loved it. And by the way, I'm scrolling on Facebook sometimes, and I get an ad for 2 guys build a biz.
Nice, us
And I'm
whipping in
like,
the
oh,
Porsche.
yeah. And it's pretty cool. But at the same time, I mean, I'm the type of guy that I don't like to have too many things to pay attention to, because if I go into too many different things, it's almost like it's not fair to any of them. You get me? I'd rather just go full into one of them if I really believe in it.
Yep.
And I think internet marketing, all of that space with e-commerce and all of that, drop shipping even. I mean, I've been in the space of drop shipping, but I'm even leaning farther away from that because I don't even like to deal with product. You
Mm-hmm.
get me? So the farther away that I can get from complications in my business, and I can just literally work on my computer and look at the numbers and look at the data and be creative to a certain extent and be able to do it from anywhere with Wi-Fi. I mean, that's literally the dream for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that laptop lifestyle, and it definitely seems like you're doing a great job of just like integrating different businesses with assets that you own, or I've seen you like getting involved with like ClickFunnels and things like that too. So
Oh, absolutely.
definitely all things that we're super into. Dave just went to Funnel Hacking Live just like a couple weeks after we were in Miami. So he went there. I went to Costa Rica. So he kind of got all the brain dump knowledge from Russell Brunson and that whole community. Yeah. So it's crazy. There's just so much opportunity, and just like perfect example, just meeting up with you. There's just so many different paths, different ways of making money online or living a independent entrepreneurial lifestyle nowadays. There's no just like one way to do it, and you can make it your own and resonate with things that you care about and that fulfill you, or like you said, products that's bogging you down, that's going to slow you down with what you're trying to build, and it's not right for you. Some other people, that might be exactly what they love and
Yeah,
work with.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we really took the service-based business route just because we've dabbled with like some drop shipping and stuff like that, but it just wasn't really as like predictable as we would like. So having like clients in the service-based business, SMMA, has just really resonated well with like our backgrounds. But we're definitely getting into like the e-learning space as kind of a way for us to not only make more money, but it's almost like a fulfillment side for us, just to
Oh yeah.
see all these people that, I mean, some of the students have been able to quit their 9 to 5s, like completely replace their income, and now they're doing their thing. And, I've just hearing the stories every day
Yeah.
coming in is just so fulfilling and just awesome. Like I spent today jumping on a call with a guy. He got into our course a few months back, but went through the content and never really took any action, was procrastinating and just really unable to motivate himself to do it. And I jumped on with a call with him and just kind of fired him up, set up a game plan. And he's already got 3 meetings set up next week with local businesses that are interested in
Yeah.
social media and things like that. So it's really cool to give back and see people making stuff happen.
Yeah, man. I actually I'm having an experience with something like that recently. So my buddy actually went to Domino's Pizza and met the cashier. Somehow they strike a conversation, and he's this 17-year-old dude. He's in summer vacation, and he ended up just like the outlier of the 17-year-olds that aren't afraid to ask questions and ask, what do you do? How do you do? And we ended up like meeting last week on Saturday, and the guy just started hammering me down with business questions, and I could tell that his mindset was just way above his age,
Yeah.
right? He's literally spent the whole week coming before going to Domino's Pizza. He just left. He worked at 4:30. He left a little before. He spent the whole day, Monday through Friday this week with me, literally just learning about everything, soaking it all up. And I can see like the spark like in his eyes whenever like something clicks. And for me, it's like I'm going back to the basics, and then I'm like exploring that territory again, and new things are clicking for me as well. You get
Yep.
me? So not only am I getting the fulfillment of showing him something and like opening up his world, but I'm also just like going in and diving back into what works.
Yeah. The fundamentals of what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those little clicks and unlock moments is definitely something that is probably cool to see, that because I'm sure you've had those moments and clicks yourselves where you thought the world was one way, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's possible. And I feel like every time I discover something that's either entrepreneurial or just like new ways to make income, or you just shifts your perspective on how you look at the world, and feel like your awareness just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and
Oh
bigger
yeah.
as you start like figuring
And
this
yeah,
out.
just when you think like it, it's like something else pops up, and it's just like, whoa, okay. There's a completely other world.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it's almost it's addicting to a certain extent.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's why we went down there to Miami. Like, we just wanted to take our first like company trip together, just like out there. And we definitely learned a lot. Like, I think I wasn't really expecting much, but I mean, just like, I think the biggest takeaway, I don't know, you were at the 10X, weren't you? Or
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway for me was just like thinking big, right? And then also the contrast of that, finding areas where you're thinking small. And I found a couple areas where I was like holding myself back, and I noticed it, and I didn't really notice it till I was down there. And once I noticed that one little thing, it just led me to think, okay, where else am I limiting myself or thinking small? And it really like helped kind of unlock what is actually possible for us. So it was pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
mean, for me, I was kind of disappointed to a certain extent
Yeah.
because at first I just felt like I was going to get sold.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we were.
But then when I realized that I was getting sold, I started paying more attention, right? And I noticed that, I mean, every speaker does give you some golden nuggets, right?
Yep.
It wouldn't be a conference that people would go to if you weren't going to get some sort of value out of. But what I started paying attention more to was what they were doing. You get me? Like, you know the saying, like, don't pay attention to what I say, pay attention to what I
What to
do.
do. Yep.
So that's what I started doing, and I started noticing that there was like these patterns to what every speaker was doing and how they were closing. So they were basically making you believe in their product and then getting your emotions involved and then closing you with logic and then showing you more emotion and then giving you a deal that you couldn't resist. Right.
Yep.
And I noticed that every single speaker that had something to sell was doing the same, it had the same formula. And it goes back to, hey, if the blueprint is laid out, I mean, is the blueprint necessarily something like that you have to go and pay for? No, I mean it's a little harder to figure it out on your own, but the blueprints are already laid out. So there was actually somebody selling a course on how to speak on stage. I remember,
Mhm.
I don't remember his name, but then I just thought about it, like, you're teaching people how to speak on stage, but we have the perfect example of the Super Bowl of speakers here at
Exactly.
10x Growth Con. If we just watch you guys, and I mean, I guess it's a live event, but if you can watch it on repeat and break down the patterns, it's literally the blueprint. You get me? There's not
Yep.
much else to it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in the comments of either the Instagram hashtags or whatever were saying, "Oh, it's just a pitch fest and da da da." But like the fact that you're able to look at it from a positive mindset, where yeah, you could just look at it like, "Oh, they're just trying to sell me something, put up a wall. This is bullshit. I don't want to be a part of it." Or you could look at it from a perspective of like positivity, optimism, abundance, curiosity, and really start dissecting what they're doing and taking that into your life, because everything is sales. I mean, when it comes to how you show up in the world, how you talk to people, if you're trying to sell a product, it's service based, whatever, you're still involved in sales, and it's almost like you were getting a live masterclass of like how to do a webinar or how to sell
Oh,
a product,
absolutely.
because they were taking the formula. They were, telling stories to pull the listener in, giving, either they took an entertaining route and they constantly gave social proof of success stories and things like that, and why their
Oh yeah,
product works so great. And there's a formula there for sure. And like you said, it's, or the
absolutely.
blueprint, it's there for the taking if you can
Yeah,
pick
and
up
it's
on it.
free.
Well, 10x wasn't free, but I mean,
Yeah.
but you don't have to
Yeah,
buy it
but
the
basically,
individual product.
yeah, they're not selling it. It's just there. You get me? Like exactly what you said. You can either close your mind to it, or you can figure out, hey, there's definitely something to learn here.
Yep.
And take the value.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I try to take that mentality when I'm like meeting with somebody or learning from somebody from past jobs, always trying to take like the best of what they're doing and leave the garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, like maybe what's something, I know we've talked about like great things and like things that we've done and accomplished, but maybe like what's something that you failed at that you've really learned from throughout? Because I'm sure there's been failure. Everybody has
Oh yeah.
stumbles along the way. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, there's a lot, dude. Like there's a lot. Like, I mean, I've spoken about it sometimes on like Instagram stories about how everybody just shows the success. I mean, it's natural, like it's nothing to be ashamed of or anything. It's natural. You get me? For people to show only the best, even when you go outside. I mean, you want to be showered, you want to be dressed, whatever it is, you want to give the best of you possible.
Yep.
But at the same time, um, there's all these success stories that are just success stories. Like there's no struggle in them. And I mean, man, I've had struggles in I mean, at this point, I haven't hit it. I don't feel like I've hit it yet. So up till now, every business that I've been has been a learning experience, and I've made mistakes, and I've had struggles, and I've had a lot of stress, and moments when I couldn't laugh,
Yep.
like days when I couldn't laugh because it was just like so much pressure on me. So, I mean, I think with my Amazon business, that's one of them. I was actually doing really well at some point. I was doing 20 to 30 a month,
Yep.
20 to 30 grand. And I remember I had just gone to China and Bali and I had spent all my money on new product. And I get back, I'm waiting for my product to get to the US. And one day I wake up and I check my account and it has zero sales, zero sales. And I get an email from Amazon saying that they actually suspended my account because I was selling products that were copyrighted by Disney at the moment. And it was like these
Yeah.
computer laptop stickers that for the MacBooks, and they had like, I don't know, they had like different things like holding the apple and stuff. And I remember I was just all in, and I had actually purchased a Mini Cooper and the white Porsche. I had just purchased it, so I was like way in.
Yep.
So that was like a very stressful moment. I lost a ton of money on product, and now I had two cars to pay for, and overhead like rent, whatever it was. I had things to pay for, so I had to figure things out quickly, and that's how I ended up getting into the car rental business. And yeah, I figured there was a car rental. I mean, I figured there was a business in there,
Oh
and
yeah.
I ended up going deeper in it, and I ended up with 4 Porsches and Mini Cooper within probably a month and a half of my Amazon business completely going upside down, and kept it moving. Kept it moving. And then within that business, I had my own stresses. I had a car stolen in my first 2 months.
Oh man.
I had a car crashed. Um, just a bunch of headaches. Like, when you're renting cars, people call you at 2 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, and you got to get out of bed and go fix a flat or something like that. And
Putting in the
it's just
work.
moments. Yeah, very stressful moments that have caused me and led me to go full circle, like I said, into the type of business that I want to be in right now.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like just the more pressure and the more dirt and the more like uh you know getting your hands in the weeds and just making it happen, like the more you can take that on, I feel like as an entrepreneur, like the more success you're going to have, and the willingness to grind and take those calls at 2 a.m. and do what you have to do. Like definitely respect that, and also just being able to turn that around so quickly, like from going from such a high to such a low to like right back at it, by
Yeah.
the creativity of that's pretty impressive. I like it.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's something that I've definitely learned of myself over the past few years, like recently, is that like whenever I'm not working on something, that's when, and I'm not somebody that gets depressed or like leaning to like a certain emotion too much. I don't get too sad or I don't get too happy. Um, I mean, the thing that keeps me balanced for the most part, leading towards happiness, and my cup is more than half full, is when I'm working on something. When I have
Mm-hmm.
a vision and I feel like I'm being productive, and I'm like, oh look, the website's ready. Oh look, the marketing. Oh look, the ads are running. Oh, we got our first sale. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
what like gets me going. If I wake up, if I put my alarm at 5 in the morning and I have nothing to wake up for that I'm looking forward to, it's so hard. But if I have something that I'm really excited for, I'm like, oh, today I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And I'm going to move forward in this way. And I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to do a podcast. Like, you get me? It's just like
Oh
the
yeah.
energy's there.
Yep. Yeah, it's like an entrepreneur. If you're not like growing or working towards something, it always feels like you're taking a step back, or
Yeah.
just maintaining is never like an option. Like you're always
It
trying
doesn't
to
feel
to
good.
grow and grow. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like on that note, like what is you know that's happiness to you? Like what does success mean to you? Like how would you like define success? Because everybody has their own way, and there's quite honestly, I think a lot of misunderstanding of like what it is, and it seems like it's this fleeting thing that no one can really ever quite get their hands around or attain. So like what does that actually mean to you in
Yeah.
being successful?
Yeah. I mean, they always say, like, there's always somebody more successful. Right.
Yep.
So if like that's your only goal is to be more successful, more successful, more successful, then you're never going to be successful. right? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
a catch-22. So for me, I mean, I guess you can kind of see it with the Instagram stories when I'm pretty active on it, is that I get to wake up, I get to work out, I get to do a little yoga, I get to take my dog to the park, I get to open up my computer when I want to open it, I get to eat breakfast whenever I want, whatever I want to eat. If I want to go out to eat, I get to eat it. Like, it's sort of like that lifestyle on a daily basis that I get to live that I call success for me. And sometimes I do forget it,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, there's always more success to have. And obviously, like, I don't know if the happiness scales with the lifestyle or not, but there's always more to have, and I want to have more, you know. So, but at the same time, I can't let go of the fact that I do get to live like however I want, and that's, for me, I take comfort in that success.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. I think success is just being able to do what you want, live the lifestyle you want on your own terms. Um, I think that's definitely success, and the numbers that are associated with that is just the natural progression of what you're doing. You know, so
Exactly. Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, like, where obviously you're really creative, and like, where do you come up with some of your best ideas, like, it throughout your life? Like, where do you think those ideas come from? Or is there like a certain place you like to go or do, or, you know, where's the best place where you get ideas?
Yeah, man. So I think like from looking from the outside in, a lot of people think I have a lot of friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of people that I might write DMs back and forth with. But in reality, let's say on a Friday night or any night really that I have a beer with a friend, it's only a group of maybe 2 or 3 friends that I might have a beer with ever.
Yep.
And I think that once we're having a beer and like we're really relaxed and we're just talking, conversations flowing, there end up being these magical moments almost that you're just like, whoa, like something just clicked, something just happened. And, it's like, it ends up being a moment where I'm like, man, I wish we were recording this conversation. I
Yep.
wish we had a podcast right now. But at the same time, I almost feel like the pressure of a podcast might actually take some of the magic away from those really, really magical moments. You
Yeah.
get me?
Yep.
Like when you're with your friends, you're having a beer and nobody cares about whatever they're saying. They're just flowing.
Yep.
Uh, Things just spark, and I think that's literally where my best ideas, sitting in my backyard with some candles on, drinking a glass of wine or something.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. I think for me it's very similar, either outdoors or like the shower, where you're just like focused on nothing, but, you know, all the outside distractions are gone. But yeah, I definitely resonate with the whole, like, meeting up with friends and having that kind of organic conversation. Like, my business partner David, you met with, we've been friends since I think like 16. I've been friends with him, and I know we have like a lot of those moments where, you know, after work or something, we'll go and grab happy hour and we're just chatting, and, you know, or I'll be walking around on the sidewalk on the phone with them talking about, you know, something good that happened, and it just escalates, and you start getting that
Yeah.
sort of whirlwind of like creative possibility. Like, the possibilities, I think, is like key. It's just,
Yeah, and then you just realize you spoke for like 3 hours. You're
yeah.
just like, did we just speak for 3 hours? Like, and it feels like 20 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like, do you have any questions for me maybe, or anything like that? I think that was kind of everything that I had thought of, or anything that I haven't asked you that you wanted to touch on, or businesses you want to plug, or anything like that.
I mean, for now, man, I'm just really diving deep myself into the whole like internet business,
Yep.
and I really enjoy bringing people together and kind of like brainstorming and masterminding, and mainly because of that, because the more people that are on the same wavelength and the same goals and the same kind of passion for whatever they're doing, or just searching, just people that are searching, you get me, like that's so special nowadays than just settling for whatever. And I guess we do get lost in the space where we think that everybody's like us, but not everybody has that desire. And for me to be able to connect with people that are like myself, or that I can learn from, or that I can maybe teach or help somehow, that's it for me. And that's about it, man.
Yeah, I definitely think we're the minority. It's easy to think that everybody's on the same path. Like if you're following all these Facebook groups and it's like nothing, it's like everything you consume, which is a good thing because, you want to surround yourself with like-minded individuals and positivity. But like you were saying before, sometimes it's you take it for granted, either the lifestyle or what you do on a day-to-day basis, or just the people that you surround yourself with. And it's good for me to just like take a step back and be like, damn, like this is pretty great. Like not a lot of people get to do this, or think back to maybe where you were before. Like for me, I was in a cubicle, with hundreds of people, and it just, thinking back, like it just makes my skin crawl, and it just feels so it feels so freeing just to like be out of that environment and, be able to come to the office. Like I'm at the office here, we're in downtown. It's nice to come here and just hammer out some work, but it's also nice to just stay home and, like you said, open up my laptop and just be on the patio, or go to a coffee shop, or just work from my phone, or I need to take a walk. Cool. I'm going to go and take a walk. I'm going to listen to a podcast, get some exercise, work out. Like definitely grateful for that. I was actually talking to David the other day, and we were talking about like retirement and, people who are like working at companies for like 30 years and just kind of leaving the company with just barely enough to survive. And just the other day, like I got done working out in the morning, and it was before I was about to head to the office, and I was just like drinking a glass of water in the kitchen, and it just felt like so good. Like I didn't, like normally if I was 3-4 years ago, I'd be like slamming that glass of water, like where's my keys, like grab my bag, I'm out the door. And I was just like sitting at that moment in the kitchen by myself, and I'm just like, I'm just drinking the water, just slow as fuck, like just rehydrating my body, like taking my time. And I think I just had like a moment of gratitude where I'm like, this is nice. This is just like appreciating the fact that I can just take my time drinking this stupid glass of water and not like just rushing in the morning. Like it was a pretty beautiful experience.
Yeah, man. And I think I've also formed a form of discipline around my freedom. That is basically like waking up early, doing some meditation, doing some yoga, working out. I actually, when my girlfriend wakes up right before work, she basically gets stressed and goes to work out with me. But, an hour and a half before, I was up doing yoga and meditation and reading something. So by the time she wakes up, I'm ready to work out, and she's like getting the jump rope with like, like she's just waking up. And I realized that gives me so much freedom because I'm so ready for the day after I already did all that. And it's almost like I go and I get whatever I want to do with my work. And then the rest of the day, if I want to keep working, a lot of the times that ends up happening, that I end up working, I don't know, maybe even more hours than I would if I had a regular job.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm just so into it. I'm enjoying it. I'm building something.
You're in a
and
flow.
I guess, it's flowing, and that gives me space to be able to, that discipline gives me space to be able to dance in that space, to do whatever I want whenever I don't feel like doing something.
Yeah.
You get me? But there are things that I do no matter what, which is like the waking up early and the working out, and that also causes me to stay on track more often than not. I don't really have those days when I wake up and I'm like, okay, today I'm not doing anything. Like that's my basis. That's my basic. That's the fundamental that keeps me, I guess, grounded in my mission.
Yeah, it sounds like just you having this lifestyle and business, like you're just taking care of yourself more. Like you have time to do these things, and set aside some time to read and to meditate and to exercise and just take care of your life. Whereas like if you did have to go to a 9 to 5, that would be you just be rushing that whole process and you'd be stuck
Yeah.
somewhere else. So yeah, I think I need some of your jump roping exercise tips or something like that. Cause I'll do boxing for a workout, and then I'll definitely get into like jump roping. I used to do amateur fighting for like a very, very short period of time way back in the day, but
That's awesome.
I still love the exercise of like shadow boxing and jump roping and just being like just soaked by the end
Yeah,
of
man.
the workout.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I like I said, there's all the resources are out there. Like I literally just follow these guys called the Jump Rope Dudes on YouTube,
Nice.
and they have like literally the best workouts. Like 30-minute work in 30 minutes, we get a better workout than a lot of people that are going to gyms and being on Instagram and waiting for a machine and doing this and that. Like we literally just go at it for 30 minutes, and it's high intensity. And I promise you, we burn more calories than a lot of people that go walk around a gym for two
Oh
hours.
yeah, you can burn thousands of or thousands, but at least 1,000 calories just going at it on jump rope, boxing. Like that's
Yeah, and then you also see that these guys aren't. I mean, they're not just making jump rope videos. There's a whole business behind their jump rope videos, right? So I love diving in and seeing what they're doing. I'm super curious about those things, and I see that they're selling jump ropes. Of course, they're selling jump ropes. You know, why would you not?
there's a business there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're selling monthly subscriptions to new workouts and things like that, and that type of thing just opens up my mind to the possibilities.
Yeah, man. Do you think like exercise and, having that kind of holistic, healthy approach to like what you do, like how does that affect your business and the decisions you make or set up your day? Like, how do you think that those two are connected? Because I've definitely felt that when I've been more active and more present and just more focused on like my health in general, I've definitely seen the positive consequences of
In
my
business.
business and my life, or especially like when I was doing sales, hardcore sales, like there'd be stints where I wasn't really doing much and I'm just kind of showing up to work. And then times where I'm just super dedicated and disciplined to anything. And it just automatically, just naturally feels like it translates positively in my business or sales or whatever I'm trying to accomplish. So what are your thoughts on just like exercise and business
Yeah,
in general?
yeah. So I think exercise is it's hard for a lot of people, and a lot of people procrastinate on it. So I've definitely been there as well, where there's like months when I actually played a lot of tennis growing up, and I messed up my knee playing tennis.
Mm-hmm.
So it kept getting re-injured, and I remember when it was probably like maybe 6 months ago. I hadn't been working out for like 2 months, and my girlfriend wanted to work out, so I would just go to the park with her and kind of tell her like, do this, do this, do that. But I wasn't working out. I was literally just like standing there telling her what to do because I didn't feel like working out, you know?
Yeah.
And and I think that definitely takes away your self-confidence,
Mm-hmm.
your energy, like just the action of like thinking like I'm telling her to do this, but I'm not doing it myself, and I'm not getting the benefits of working out and all these things. So I think it's more about like that self-confidence you get of like saying I'm going to work out, and then you end up working out, and then the energy that you get from working out itself, and it just like accumulates. And I like to go by this concept of like the little wins.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, waking up, I have my alarm at 4:59 every day. Even on the weekends, I try to wake up 4:59, 5:59, either one of those, depending on how late I go to sleep. So for me, if I wake up with my alarm rings, that's a win. You get me? And then if I read 10 pages of a book or whatever it is, that's a win. If I meditate, that's a win. If I do a little yoga, that's a win. If I get my workout in, that's a win. If I make my bed, that's a win.
Yep.
You get me? And it's like I start off my day with these little wins that give me that confidence and that energy to then go after the harder things. You
Yeah.
know, the waking up and stuff, it stops being that hard. The workout, it stops being that hard. It's actually something that I look forward to. And then whenever there's something that I'm not necessarily looking forward to, I think about it like, oh, come on, man, let's just get another win.
Yeah.
And I mean, you switch the concept, your perception on things.
Yeah, you're just building like momentum of wins. So naturally, you're just going to keep winning, you know, or keep
Yeah,
striving for something else to win.
exactly. And it's addicting.
Yeah, definitely. I like how it, because I feel like we're so much in our heads, you know, like with like social and, you know, I feel like we're kind of disconnected from our body, like as a society. Like we're not really taught to treat it well, and you know, it's just work, show up, be there, grind, grind, grind. And I feel like we're so much in our head. And to me, like when I do focus on working out, and I feel like I'm more grounded and less like in my head and more like action orientated, because I'm already like in that mode of momentum of, like you said, small wins, or just it gets me out of, because I'm definitely the type of personality where I'll overthink shit too much.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm exercising, it just like instantly gets me out of that. And I'm like right
Yeah, man.
into like a centered state, and I'm taking action, and I'm not like hesitating. And, you know, when it comes to like business meetings, I feel like I'm more on point, like right with an answer. And it's just like that flow state. It just gets you going. I just think there's such a important connection between those two.
Absolutely.
Sick, man. Well, what's your like Instagram handles and websites or anything you want to plug, just so people can follow you, you know, stay in touch with you, come into your world, learn about what you're doing, maybe meet
Yeah, man.
Rocco. That's his name?
Yeah.
Meet
Rocket. Yeah,
meet
yeah. He's
Rocket.
actually sitting right next to me, but he's over there. Yeah, I mean, you guys can follow me at Goldn Monk. It's Goldn Monk without an E at the Golden. And lately, I've been using Facebook more often. I find that it's a really good place to connect. It's kind of more intimate, and there's more business going on Facebook. But for the most part, I'm pretty active on Instagram and stuff, and I love to connect with new people. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to connect, like, hit me up through there.
Awesome. Well, appreciate having you on. I'm sure we'll be in touch, and we'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right. See ya.